Hi everyone, welcome to Project Cars. So this is a driving and racing simulator game that supports virtual reality on the Oculus Rift and the HTC Vive. I'm playing it on the Rift because my Vive is still at HTC getting repaired, although I would probably be playing it on the Rift anyways because I do think the Rift is preferable for simulation games like this. So this game is really realistic, it's really immersive, especially in virtual reality, and I decided to take it a step further and buy this force feedback steering wheel, so when I make turns, I can feel resistance on the wheel, and makes it feel like an actual steering wheel in a car, and it just improves your immersion. I also have the pedal and the brake down at my feet. And yeah, I'm not the type of guy who really likes driving games or simulation games on the computer, but in virtual reality, man, it's a whole nother story because just the sense of immersion you get when you have a car all around you and you're using a steering wheel, feeling resistance on it, and watching your hands. I mean, my hands aren't perfectly aligned with what I'm doing on the steering wheel, but it still feels really, really awesome, really fun. And I'm just doing like a solo mode, practice run, but I still think it's awesome. I would never do this in a racing game on my computer, like drive super slow down a highway, but in virtual reality it feels like I'm driving down a California highway and just chilling and breaking the law because I'm driving on the wrong side of the road, but this is virtual reality, so no one's gonna stop me. But yeah, man, I love simulation games in VR. I didn't really give them a fair shot when I had the Vive because I was all about just playing the motion control room scale games, and those games are great, don't get me wrong, they're super immersive, but now I'm realizing, now that I'm stuck with the Rift, now I'm realizing that the simulation games are even more immersive than the room scale games because you have nothing reminding you that you're in VR. You don't have the grid wall or just walking into the real wall. You don't have to deal with like janky teleportation mechanics. For a racing game, locomotion is already solved, and it's just a perfect fit for VR. So yeah, and for this game in particular, and other racing games, the fact that you can be looking around independently of what you're doing with the car, I imagine gives you a huge advantage in races. I wasn't able to take advantage of that. In fact, I got completely crushed by the computer players when I tried to race them. But I imagine if you're a competent driver, that being in VR will give you a huge advantage. Another thing about this game is that the graphics are really good, especially for a VR game. But what you're seeing that I'm recording on the screen looks a lot better than what I'm seeing in game. So VR has this thing called the screen door effect, where it's kind of like you're looking through a screen door because of the pixelation. Because my eyes are right up to the lenses, even though it's like 1200p or something, I can still see a little bit of pixelation. This is the CV1 Rift, so the pixelation is not that bad. But for a game with really realistic graphics like this, even just the tiny amount of pixelation kind of throws you off. It's not as bad as I'm making it sound, but you can definitely tell it's there. So that, for me, is the main reminder that I'm in virtual reality. So that's what'll keep me from going insane, maybe. But the graphics are still great in this game for a virtual reality game. I'm just nitpicking and trying to temper my fanboyism with a little bit of reality, I guess. So the SDE effect is more visible in this game than probably any VR game that I've played, and that is, I believe that is a direct result of the fact that the graphics are so good that it makes it more noticeable. Nonetheless, I mean, even though I'm just driving around at like the speed limit on an empty highway, I'm having a really fun time, and I feel like I am just like driving around and talking to myself. So yeah, simulation games in VR, are definitely one of the best uses for VR, and they have actually been the saving grace of the Oculus Rift for me, because I was pretty bummed when my HTC Vive broke and I had to use the Oculus Rift exclusively. I was like, oh man, like no motion controls, no walking around the room with room scale. This is gonna be lame. But I went ahead and I picked up a flight stick for Elite Dangerous, and I picked up this force feedback steering wheel for Project Cars. And yeah, I'm finding just as much enjoyment out of these games as I was with the room scale and motion control games. So that's definitely an argument for the Oculus Rift. The Oculus Rift gets a lot of hate. Well, maybe hate is too strong a word, but I feel like Vive fans completely rip on it 24/7. But if you're in a limited space, and if you're into simulation games, and you can't really set up a room scale properly, then the Rift might actually be your best choice. So I'm gonna go more in depth with that this weekend. I'm gonna make an official Rift versus Vive comparison video, and I should probably stop talking about it now because I'm off on a tangent. And yeah, so Project Cars, awesome game. It has a ton of cars that you can choose from, a ton of tracks. I chose the California track because California is a beautiful state, and cruising along the California highway sounded a lot of fun. There's other mechanics to this game, like, I personally just started playing, so I don't even know all the mechanics, but there's like an engineering thing where you like swap out all these different parts on your car to make it into some crazy supercar, and there's online play. So it's a really fun game. It's not a VR exclusive game. It's been on the PC for a while, and I think it's regarded as just a really great car simulator by most simulation enthusiasts, but correct me if I'm wrong. It's one of the only racing games in VR right now. The other one is iRacing. Well, there are other racing games, but I'm talking about like first-person realistic simulation racing games. So iRacing is the other realistic car racing game that you're gonna find. And then in terms of other racing games on VR, I've seen these like kart-style games that are third-person. So I'm hesitant to try those, but I will give them a shot someday. But for the first-person racing games, I have to recommend them. They're really fun, even as someone who is not really into racing games. I'm having a blast with this. Highly recommend any simulation game, and I definitely recommend getting the peripherals also, but I'm sure this is fun with just an Xbox controller as well. The force feedback steering wheel is a bit pricey. This is like an entry-level model, and I got it on Amazon for $200, and it was one of the cheapest force feedback wheels I could find. Obviously, you can get them cheaper if you're on eBay or Craigslist or whatever, but hopefully I'll get a lot of use out of it. So I'm going to end this video by just going at maximum speed, and probably getting a crash. I'm not going to put on the brakes. I'm just going to roll with it. Here we go. Okay. Oh, man. Oh, God. Yep. Here we go. Okay. Recovered. I don't know if your car blows up or anything in this game. Like I said, I've only done like 2 races before this. Really intense when you're going full speed. This is why I didn't record the video doing races, because I actually tried and I wasn't able to form a coherent string of thoughts while trying to maneuver my car at like 100 miles per hour. Okay, so here I am, shamefully stuck. Let's just pretend that I got in a crash. No. Goodbye. Oh god, I'm gonna crash into it. Okay, I'm good. Alright. Where is he? Okay, there he is. So I'm at really good range right now. Oh, no. He's getting out of range. I'm gonna boost after him. There we go. Once you're in like 800 to 700 range, then you're good. I'm not that great at the game right now, so excuse my noob flying. Okay, my weapons are overheating. Oh yeah, we got him.